I guess that's...
No need for it to be that.
Yeah, that's better. Hello, hello. Hello, hello. Good morning, Twitch. Good morning, YouTube. Good morning, Internet. I wonder if I'm live. It says I'm live. We will see. Hey, what's up, Mark the Toad? Oh, man. Yeah, hey, I got off to a little bit of a late start today. I had to go to the bank this morning with Eric and do some grown-up stuff. And so I wasn't initially going to do it this morning, but the timeline necessitated it. So wasn't able to stream earlier today. Or I would have only been able to stream for like 30 minutes, which seemed ridiculous. So instead, I used that time to edit this week's So All Right, which is done now. I just have to do my final pass, you know? Make sure everything doesn't suck, and then I'll be able to turn that into Nick. So even though I wasn't streaming with y'all at 8 a.m. this morning, I was being very productive by editing So All Right and doing cameos and then going to the stupid bank with Eric to do stupid bank stuff. Thank you, Johnny's Bomb. Anybody see? Oh, hey, what's up? Gekriji? Hey, it's Lydia Jones. What's up? Eric can't be grown up by himself. Neither of us can. We need each other to force the other to be the grown up. Between the two of us, we have one grown up who's kicking and screaming, trying not to be a grown up. Yes, you are, Grizzly. Yes, you are. Oh, yeah, today's Advent calendar. Well, no spoilers, I guess, but today, I think I'm in today's. I don't remember what it is, though. Did you go to the correct bank? Yeah, we did. We went back to see our buddy at the bank, who we're getting to know very well because I'll be seeing him again tomorrow morning. It'll be our third visit with him. The one meeting I have for today is happening right now. That sucks, Valiant. Sorry to hear that. Women's Muff. Right. I don't remember Holiday Things Draft. Okay, thank you. That was a fun one, Holiday Things Draft. Also not necessarily playing PowerWash. That's just what I had on in the background. Oh, cool, Caesar. I'll have to try to check that out later. Yeah, I'm alive. I'm totally alive. Two halves of a whole grown up. Johnny's excited for the Gerpler. Thank you. I am too. Yeah, I guess that announcement came out yesterday, huh? That's kind of the problem with this career and how online I am all the time. I filmed that little Gerpler thing 2 weeks ago, but for whatever reason, it couldn't come out till now. You never know. Maybe it wasn't 2 weeks ago. Maybe it was a week ago. Whatever. The Murdler. Have you ever considered streaming Sporsal quizzes? I don't know what that is. I don't know what Sporsal quizzes are. Is it online? Is it a video game? Hey, your black metal shirt. Hell yeah. Do you like RoboCop? I do. I'm a child of the 80s and 70s. That shelf missing one card in the end is making my head hurt. I'll make it even worse for you. There's 3 cards on the right there after that empty spot. They're not in order. I need to reorient the entire both cases to put those cards in. One is from 1966 and the other 2 are from 1970. And it's going to be like a half-hour process to do it, and I'm just waiting until I have one more card to put in there. I just haven't bought whatever that last card is going to be. And when I get that card in, then I'll fill it out. And then I got the issue of the collection's not done. So where do I put the next card case? I don't have any space. I'll have to buy a house in Michigan. Your grandmother's dog is named Jefferson. Geoff Efferson. I love it. Are you collecting any Jordan Walsh cards? Yeah, man. I actually, hold on a second. You know, I don't know what I did with it, but I was actually looking up some Jordan Walsh because for those of you not in the know, you got to be pretty deep in the know. Not like in a Bernie Ashley Rooster Teeth way, but now you're in the know. For those of you not in the know, Jordan Walsh is a third-year player for the Boston Celtics. He was drafted by the Boston Celtics late in the first round 3 years ago. This is his make-or-break season. It's typically the end of the rookie contract. He has ridden the bench a lot, played a lot in the G League, but this year, in his put up or shut up moment, he has put up big time and has been a huge part of the reason the Celtics are overperforming right now. Has been phenomenal on defense. I say that word too much, but it's true. Good on offense, but just tremendous on defense and high energy, and is been a plus-minus monster right now and is all over the place and is the injection of energy in the fourth quarter that you need, and everybody who's a Boston Celtics fan is geeking out hard about him right now. I bought an Obsidian RPA of him maybe 8 months ago or so, just to make sure that because I didn't have one, and they were super cheap. So I got it picked up for $30 or something. I don't know where it is, but so I have that. I was actually looking, not night before last night, I was looking to buy another one now that he's doing well. And the prices are already getting a little crazy. But he who shall not be named Walsh, yeah. So probably still time to get one before he becomes Michael Jordan Walsh officially. But he's on the come up for sure. Can I trade 2 or 3 black Gerplers for 1 Murdler? You'd have to trade with your fellow Gerpler owners. The only Gerpler I have, I think, is that green one, and that's the one that we tested our mouth sizes on, so it's gross, and it's got our hash marks on it. Austin is better to visit, and I say that as someone who lives in Dallas, as opposed to what? Oh, what city is best to visit? Yeah, Austin's probably where you're going to have the most bang for your buck. If you want to go to pro sports and stuff, then Houston or Dallas. I think San Antonio's pretty charming, personally, but a lot of people think it's boring. I get it. I think you have to spend some time in San Antonio to really uncover the true value of the place. I think San Antonio is a great city. I would, if I wasn't so in love with Austin, if I had to live anywhere else in Texas, I'd live in San Antonio probably. Not a big fan of Dallas or Houston, but they have a lot to offer in terms of museums and professional sports teams and theme parks and all that shit too. Austin is just where you're going to go to eat your ass off and drink and party. Look up Boston Celtics Sporkle. Oh, God. Is that a website? I'll do that sometime. If you're ever going to make it to Tuscaloosa for an Alabama football game, I don't know. I would like to at some point in my life. I've never been to an Alabama game in my life. Last time I spent 3 to 4 hours in Austin, I checked out South Congress and tried Home Slice, which was good. Cool. Yeah, that's a quick and easy place to just spend 2 or 3 hours just window shopping. It used to be a bunch of quirky local Austin shops that sold, local artisan wares, and there was this dude that did paper mache art for years and years and years, and there was clothing stores where local designers were actually designing the clothes, and it was all kinds of cool stuff on South Congress, and Amy's Ice Cream and yada yada yada. And now there's Nike and Hermes and a Soho House, and it's a different place, but it's still still a easy way to spend a couple hours. Valiant Vanner is going to go see Agnostic Front tonight. Hell yeah. I saw Agnostic Front at Riot Fest last year. I've seen them maybe 4 times in my life. Great. They were just as good last summer as they were the last time I saw them, which was probably 2005 or something. Geoff, you just named a very convincing argument. I'd love to visit a few of the cities, but I think Austin would be a good place to start. I mean, it's just like a, yeah, it's like a, yeah, it's like the, I would say it's like the hot party city, but I feel like it's on the way out. I think Austin's darling, being in the public eye, darling days are on the decline. There'll be a new city that'll take up and be the cool spot in America for a while. I don't know what it is, but it's not Austin. And that's not anything against Austin. I love Austin, but we've been on top for a while. What's up, Braxerman? Thank you for your mod work today and every day. Yeah, there's not much of a need for, hopefully not much of a need for mods in my chats just because everybody's cool. Austin was comedy mecca for a bit there, but people are falling out of love with Kill Tony. Well, Austin was comedy mecca with a certain crowd for a period of time. I think that was pretty unsustainable. And just so you know, the vast majority of Austin, the people who lived here before 2012, before, you know, the pandemic, when Joe Rogan brought half of the alt-right comedy scene to Austin, a lot of people in Austin were not super on board with that movement and not jazzed to see it happen and didn't think it was sustainable. And yeah, I think it's probably past its honeymoon phase too in the popular culture. I know you visited London in the UK. Have you visited other places? What has been your favorite? In the UK? I've been to Edinburgh a few times. Been to Manchester, I think. Been to Nottingham. Yeah, been to Nottingham. I drove from London to Edinburgh, and so everywhere I stopped along the way is where I've been. And I also spent a day in Nottingham for some reason, and I don't remember why. Ever visit the Coachella Valley? No, I've never been there. Never the valley or the festival. No, and not looking to, honestly. Nope. Big up Nottingham. What is it? They call it Shottingham for Robin Hood. No, I didn't go for Robin Hood. I don't remember. Did I get stabbed for my shoes in Nottingham? I do remember people making fun of Ben King back in the day for being from Nottingham and calling it Shottingham, and he was not jazzed about that. He was like, "It's not that bad." I gave up and downloaded an app to track the places I've been. It's so cool to see the list. Yeah, I think Becca Fraser turned me onto that, or one of those apps a long time ago, and I used to use it, but I forgot about it till you mentioned it, so I haven't kept up on it. Do you think the Tigers trade Skubal? I do. I'm not happy about it. Who would be? But I think I do. I think they do. I think that they are not the organization to give him the money that he wants, and I think that sucks. But it is what it is. His trade value's about as high as it's going to be right now, I would imagine, and the haul that they could get for him, no, it would. We'll see. We'll see. Fred's going to Austin in a couple of weeks and was looking for food recommendations. Is there a Reddit post or something with a list of places the guys have suggested? I don't know, but I will say that the problem with that is that Austin is a kind of city where there's so much turnover these days that even those lists of places that we would have talked about in the podcast, the Rooster Teeth podcast years ago, a lot of those restaurants don't exist anymore, you know? A lot of the places that we've discussed aren't around, but I think that there are. Yeah, there's also a place called there's a subreddit I'm on called, I think, Austin Food or Austin Foodie, and they have a lot of they're mean, but they have a lot of recommendations there. I can give you advice if there's any kind of food you're looking for specifically, or that they are. Any advice for people in the music media industry? My band got approached by a producer by some pretty big rappers and wants to work with us. Just a scary industry. Talk to a lawyer. No, I have no advice. I'm a fucking idiot. I don't know anything about music other than my fandom of it. I don't know anything about how the music industry works. I was a roadie once, but that doesn't qualify me. And I'm so out of touch with the media industry in general. You know, I'm in my head down just making a podcast and comedy in the way that I know how to do it and for as long as I can phase. I'm not trying to read any tea leaves or understand the way that things are moving. And I don't think that I would be able to if I did. I think that you lose that ability at some point when you become old. But so I would talk to a lawyer, yeah, an entertainment lawyer, maybe, in your town and get their counsel and see what they advise before you end up, you know, signing the rights of an album or property away for a long time, potentially. And they might be like, yeah, this is a great deal. You should do it. But, man, that's scary grown-up stuff. The Anma subreddit has a great list I used when I went last year. Yeah, Anma or Good Morning Gustavo probably does. I can give you a lot of coffee recommendations. That's what I'm most up on these days. What's your favorite city in Metro Detroit? That's a great question. Corktown, I like. I wanted to buy a house there. My wife did not. Ferndale, I like a lot. I wanted to buy a house there. My wife did not. I'm okay with Royal Oak. I like, what's the area? It's kind of in the middle of nowhere, but, what's it called? Sherwood Forest is fucking crazy. Fucking crazy. But I'll probably end up in, you know, I guess I'm a biggest fan of Indian Village and that area. So I'll probably, that's where I'm, you know, looking to buy, somewhere around Indian Village. I don't know much about Dearborn. I haven't spent much time in Dearborn. Sad Cat Sam likes Royal Oak. Hell yeah. The RoboCop statue just got put up at Eastern Market. I know. I sent it to the family text chat when it went up. He looks thick as shit, too. I like it. I was just at Eastern Market, I don't know, a month ago, and I'll probably be back soon. I'm going up to Detroit for Christmas, so I'll definitely be up and at Eastern Market, and I will definitely go see the RoboCop statue and take a picture with him here in about 2 weeks. Thank you for the sub, SF Clark. Potential gameplay idea. It's a surprise stream. Each person has a life, and the goal is to survive the longest. A person would start streaming, and the last one to show up loses their life, probably when it's down to the last two. What game? Are we killing people in real life? Sherwood Forest is like a couple of neighborhoods that have just like gingerbready, Disney, Tudor style, like what you would expect in like a Bavarian mountain town. It's just fucking crazy. But there's like nothing around it, you know? Like you just have the houses and then it's kind of as I understand it, and from what I've seen, just kind of a sea around it of nothing. There's another area that I can't think of the name of. Huntington Woods, is that it? Where maybe it's Huntington Woods, where the zoo backs up to it. I think that's kind of a cool area too. I have toured just about every neighborhood in Metro Detroit, you know, looking for houses. Boston Edison, you know, is another one, kind of like Sherwood Forest, like incredible houses that are way too nice to be as affordable as they are, but there's really nothing. Like, mostly I want to ride my bike. That's my like main source of entertainment. And so you got to take that into consideration, which is why, like, honestly, Grosse Pointe would make a lot of sense. There's a lot of areas to ride that are pretty bike friendly and safe. And, you know, a lot of the neighborhoods in Detroit are, you know, anchored by a lot of maybe not as fun places to ride bikes around. How went FAFSA? I'm still waiting to hear back on my FAFSA guy, but still waiting. Anyway, I like just about everywhere I've been in Detroit. That's the thing. I'd be happy to live in Ferndale. I'd be happy to live in Huntington Woods. I'd be happy to live just about anywhere. Motown Mansion, I've driven by it. I've never been in it. It could be any game. For example, you could just start streaming Ark. The last of the guys to show up for the stream loses their life that round. Interesting. It's a cool idea. I've never been to the Detroit Zoo. I got to go. I definitely have to go. They did a whole renovation the past several years. I think that's why I haven't been. I think it was closed once when we tried to go. Yeah, I don't know why I've never been to the Detroit Zoo. Do you think you would venture to Canada more if you lived in Detroit? Absolutely. I'd love to. Yeah. I like Canada a lot. I think I've been to Montreal, Toronto, and Vancouver, and I like them in that order. Montreal, Toronto, Vancouver. I liked Vancouver less than everybody else who's ever been to Vancouver, I think. But I love Montreal. Absolutely love Montreal. Toledo Zoo is an hour and a half from South Detroit. Yeah, we went to Toledo once to see a Mud Hens game, and I really enjoyed Toledo. It seemed like a fun little town. Is that because Andrew's there? No, he's actually pretty far away from Vancouver. He's on Vancouver Island, which is deceptively far away from it, I think. The most random country I want to visit? I don't know. What's the most random country you want to visit? I want to go everywhere. I'm pretty open. I kind of want to go everywhere, and then I also don't really want to go anywhere anymore. You know, I've traveled a lot, and I'm getting older, and not that age has anything to do with it. It's just more like I'm just happy home, you know? But I've always wanted to go to Portugal. I haven't been able to go yet, so. My mom just went to Gibraltar. She's on a cruise. I'm kind of jealous of that. I've always wanted to go to Gibraltar. You liked Vancouver Island more than Vancouver? That's good to know. Slovenia. I'd like to go to Slovenia. Kazakhstan. Georgia. Never been to Georgia. Candles has reset 47 passwords this morning already. Jesus. I went to Austin for Thanksgiving because of our tea. I'd always pictured it as a much larger, so I was surprised by how small the busiest parts were. Austin is the littlest big city in America, maybe. It's, I think, 11th largest in the city. 11th largest city in the country, counting metro area. But the downtown is incredibly small, you know? It's like, you compare it to like San Francisco, who we are, I think, bigger than, and it's insane. It's insane. An idea for the Goof World passports as well. 5,000 passports in total, but each one you get to design 1,000 of your state. I wonder what we'll end up doing with Goof World, if anything. A lot of ideas just die on the vine, you know? I have a friend who fucked out of America because of the state of women's rights. She's been traveling the world for 6 or 7 years now. She loves Albania. Nice. Nice. That's part of why I wanted to fuck out of Texas, is so I can live in a blue state that allows my wife and daughter more autonomy over their bodies. But my daughter moved to a blue state, and my wife and I are trying to buy a house in one, so. Morning, Geoff. I enjoyed today's episode of So All Right. Very insightful for the names of all the sports teams. Oh, thank you. Thank you. I didn't know what today's So All Right was. You just reminded me. I thought it was maybe bingo. Okay, great. That's awesome. That's awesome. I gotta record a So All Right today. Good luck with that, Naked the Naked. Japan's a cool place. I'd like to take my wife to Japan. She's never been. Thank you for the watch streak reach there, Chris Rule. Appreciate that. 25 stream streak. Jesus Christ. That's awesome, dude. You should have Andrew draw the real world from memory. You want to get a potpourri going today? Hell yeah. Hokkaido for the snow festival? Yeah, that'd be pretty cool. Was anybody around last night when I did the surprise stream with Emily? I guess it's becoming less of a surprise stream because we seem to be doing them every Monday. But we played... What was that game called? I deleted it too. Detective Rainy Night. It was a game that I downloaded on the stream yesterday when we were playing, and I thought it would be like a fun Outlast style horror game. It was something. It's great voice acting. We ended up playing and beating the whole thing in like an hour and a half. Had a couple jump scares. It was fun. It was fun to do something like that with her. Looked like the art was AI. I don't know. Instant delete as soon as I beat it. Yeah, it was. I got 1,000 points in it. Beat it. It's there was definitely no replayability to it. But apparently there's going to be more games in that universe. So who knows? Maybe we'll play some more. I'm not allowed to watch anything with Emily in it unless my girlfriend is home to watch as well. Oh, that's sweet. I'll have it up on my YouTube fake Geoff archive probably in like 3 days or something. I've got the stream scheduled out, so I think it'll be the next one I schedule out. So maybe it'll be like Thursday or Friday morning. Thank you for the sub. Appreciate that, Sarah Rob. Hello, podcasting elder. Hello, Judian. How you doing? What was the game you played with Andrew and Eric where you click through 3 different movies? It started with an I? It was one name, right? What was that game? I can't remember what it was called. It was a great game, though. Immortality. Thank you, Lagging Man. Thank you. And you're a comment leaver now. Yeah. Immortality. That was a lot. If you've never played that game, I highly recommend it. It's really clever. Recul O2 says, I just like thank you, Geoff, too. I've just been on an 8-month trip with the British Navy, and I was having a tough time with my girlfriend at the time. I downloaded some old videos. Your laugh helped me switch off and be happy. A lot of thanks. Oh, that's very kind of you to say, Recul. I hope everything worked out with your girlfriend. Me and my friends have turned the Regulation Advent into a daily ritual now. They didn't know about Regulation last year, so I'm taking them through the first year's Advent day by day as well. Oh, that's so nice. Immortality with Emily? Oh, maybe. How do you get over a writer's block procrastination stage? Currently going through one, and it sucks. First off, thank you, SF Clark. That's a huge. Thank you for the 5 subs. I really, really, really appreciate that. 2 things. One, the Advent got mentioned a couple times. Just so if people aren't aware in the chat, over on the Regulation Patreon, we are doing it's become yearly now, Advent calendar of content, where we release one piece of surprise content every day for the first 24 days of December. Obviously, today is the 9th, so today is the 9th piece. I think it was a draft, if I remember correctly. Thank you, Recul02, for the sub. I really appreciate that. And I'm sure Jedler does too. Yeah, you can go to regulatreon.com. Anyway, today was a draft. Yeah, Christmas-themed draft. And so every day there's a new surprise piece of content. I think the shortest piece was probably 16 minutes. The longest is 3.5 hours. And it's free. You just have to be a member of the Patreon. So if you go to patreon.com/theregulationpod or go to regulatreon.com, you can find a link to it. As I said, we'd love it if you'd pay for the Patreon, but if you don't want to, you don't have to. That content is free. That's just a thank you to us, from us to us. A thank you from us to you for the last year of support. And so about 4 months ago, we started trying to get ahead by recording extra Christmas content. We've been working on this since about September, I want to say, and so we're happy to finally be able to share it with you guys. Now, to answer the other question, how do you deal with writer's block or creative block or laziness? procrastination, you just have to get off your ass and do it. You have to be mean. You have to be hard on yourself, you know? That's all. That's the only answer I can give you there. Is just you just can't. You're the only person that's going to hold yourself accountable once you get to a certain point in your life. When you're young, your parents will do it, or your teachers, or a drill sergeant in the military, or whatever. But at some point when you're on your own, it's just you. You know, you're the only person who's going to hold you accountable. So you have to do that. You cannot let you be the reason you don't succeed at something, you know? I have a terrible procrastination problem, and I have to fight myself all the time. And I make deals with myself, right? I'll say like, all right, listen, I want to go for a bike ride. Bike rides are good for me. They're healthy. They're good for me mentally, physically. I need to stay in shape, but it's also fun. And I recognize that it's fun. And I can trick myself into saying that going for the bike ride is purely for the health, but it's not. It's for the release and the fun and the enjoyment of it. It's an activity that I enjoy to do. So instead of going for the bike ride at noon when I want to go, record an episode of So All Right first. Just get that recorded. You don't have to edit it. Just get it recorded. And then allow yourself to go for a bike ride. Reward yourself. And then come back with fresh legs and a clear head, and then edit So All Right. Or whatever. I'm constantly bargaining with myself, making deals with myself. As far as having writer's block or creative block, work on something else. It's not something that I deal with very often. I'm very fortunate, knock on wood, that it doesn't come up a lot. But when it does, I just switch gears. Like, I luckily have enough irons in the fire that it's like, oh, I'm hitting a roadblock on So All Right. I'll just work on some ideas for regulation. Or can't figure this fucking draft idea out, and it's driving me nuts. And I feel like I'll never have a good draft idea again. Let me go read about the history of shoelaces and do something for So All Right. And it's just about redirecting that creative energy in other places that aren't blocked. And if you can do that, I think you'll find you work around a lot of problems that way. Hate yourself until you do it. That might not be the best advice, and that may be a very Gen X old man advice, but that is kind of how my generation operates, you know? Am I working on any puzzles right now? I'm going to do next, I think, this puzzle. It's the history of hairdos from 1870 to 1990. And I imagine this was a gift to my wife, but maybe it was a gift to me. Either way, I'm very excited to do it. I just haven't started yet because I've been needing the table space for cards for a bit. But yeah, that would be my advice, I guess. I don't know if it's useful or not. Best place in Austin for tacos. Veracruz is kind of the Austin standard now. Kind of considered the best for a good reason. Torchy's is dog shit. I would stay away from Torchy's. Torchy's was awesome back in the day. Torchy's was phenomenal back in the day, but they have gone through a lot of changes, and the last couple times I've been there, it has been real mediocre, and I've heard that sentiment from a lot of people. So I would be a little less excited about Torchy's, but I would say Veracruz, or my personal favorite, which I like a little bit more than Veracruz, Pueblo Viejo. So there's one on Tillery at Flitch Coffee that I go to a lot. Yeah, you got to give yourself grace. Of course, you're allowed time off, but you also know. You know you. You know when you're being lazy, and you know when you need time off, and you know when you are burned out, and you know when you just don't have motivation. It's just about being. You just got to hold yourself accountable. It sucks. It's hard. It's the hardest thing I do is hold myself accountable. But who the fuck else is going to do it, you know? Not my mom. I'm 50 years old. I don't have a mentor. Yeah, you can bullshit others, but you can't bullshit yourself. That is true. You got to be honest with yourself. What's up, Regulation Randy? Better to cultivate discipline than to rely on motivation. That's a very smart sounding thing. I like that. That's cool. The trick is to be 100% bullshit so that not even you know. That is a trick for sure. That is definitely a trick. I should probably have a video game on in the background or something, right? Otherwise, I don't know what this YouTube video will be. I'm just going to spray while we talk. Bernie said it about a Reddit post. Or said it in a... Yeah. Bernie's good for quotable lines. He's one of very few people who have given me advice in my life that I have held on to my entire life. You know? Not to give Bernie any credit for anything at all. I'm kidding. But yeah, he's given me 3 or 4 pieces of advice throughout the course of our friendship and coworkership that stuck with me. I did the ball first. Yeah, Chris. Thank you. It was a first. Yeah, absolutely. Trying to stay on top of those achievements. This has been one of the most enjoyable maps to clean. I really didn't enjoy the one before this was the like rock climbing park, dinosaur rock climbing park, and I didn't quite enjoy that one. It was kind of obnoxious, I thought. But this one has just been an absolute joy, and the carpet is great. I mean, I assume this is carpet. I think it's safe to assume. Oh, yeah. Look how... Ew. You thought it was clean. You don't know clean. You don't know nothing. I see no Mark the... I saw Mark the Toad earlier, but no Mark the Frog, so I guess no bolt gun today. Thank you. A little bit of progress for us. I enjoy the stupid world of this game so much for some reason. I wish that there was more of a reason to interact with it. Like, this is a pretty cool little place. And I know it exists somewhere outside and, well, it's just a reflection, but somewhere near to other shit that I've cleaned, you know? Anyway, this is enough gameplay for a thumbnail now, at least. I'll go back to talking to you guys. This is my fucking just like turn my brain off and relax game these days for a little while now. I feel guilty playing other games like Dave the Diver, for instance, or Bolt Gun. I'd feel guilty playing because I feel like that's more of something that we would do here. But this I don't feel bad about. Hey, what's up, Drew? Did I catch the late night wings shutout over Vancouver? A little bit of it, but I had a bunch of shit I had to do last night. Sitting in a meeting listening to grown-ups negotiate phone contracts. I am so bored. I hear you. After I hang out with you guys for another hour or so, I guess, I already edited So All Right. I have to listen to it one more time. Then I have to record So All Right. Today's going to be okay, though. I'm going to do, even though I don't, the whole thing about how I'm not going to do movie reviews anymore, I'm going to do 3 movie reviews today. I'm going to do the movies of Jimmy Cliff, reggae and ska great Jimmy Cliff, who died recently, who I eulogized already in an episode of So All Right. But in that, I said I was going to watch his the 3 films that he was in. He was in, I think, 1 or 2 others, but these are like the 3 major films he was in. The Harder They Come, which was sort of pseudo-autobiographical in a sense, and the film that helped launch him on the map. And then Club Paradise, which is a 1984 or 1986 Robin Williams, Peter O'Toole, Eugene Levy, Rick Moranis film, which I don't even know where to start with. Definitely have to have a lot to say about that film. And then the third one, which I just watched most recently, and I am amazed at how much I enjoyed and hated it in equal measure, which was Marked for Death, the Steven Seagal vehicle, his 3rd film. We're 4 million behind this quarter. Ugh. Check the office sofa cushions. You never know what falls out. Saw Marked for Death in the theaters. Man, did Steven Seagal's life take a weird path. Yeah, I know, Scott. I don't think I saw that one. I don't think I ever saw a Steven Seagal movie in the theaters. This came out in 1990. I would have been in 9th or 10th grade, in 9th grade, I think, in 1990. But I don't know why I never did see them. But when I was a kid, and I'll talk about this in So All Right probably. When I was a young kid, early 80s was dominated by Sylvester Stallone and Arnold Schwarzenegger. They just went back and forth with fucking movies, and it was awesome. Commando, Terminator, Red Dawn, Rocky, Rambo, Cobra, just back and forth. Awesome films. And then when I was a little bit older, it became Steven Seagal and Jean-Claude Van Damme, right? And they kind of went back and forth. And then they both kind of went. And then Jean-Claude Van Damme kind of came back around a little bit. Steven Seagal is just spiraling out in Russia somewhere being a fucking lunatic. But when I was a kid, those first 5 Steven Seagal movies, because Under Siege was the big one, where it was probably, I would say, like the height of everything for him. But the first 4 that led up to that, I, as a kid, was like Above the Law, Hard to Kill, Marked for Death, and Out for Justice. And I thought those movies were so fucking good growing up. And I thought Marked for Death especially was good because it was scary, because I remember the bad guy being scary. And I was so surprised to go back and watch that film and see, A, how bad he always was. I don't remember him. When I was a kid, it was a good movie. I don't remember him being a bad actor in the movie. I just remember the movie being awesome and him clotheslining people a bunch. He is simultaneously so bad and yet possessed of some sort of an unlikable charisma that makes you want to watch him at the same time. It was wild. But also, the thing that struck me about Marked for Death is it is a real-ass movie. They had a budget. I'm going to look that up when I do the So All Right. Keith David is in it. There's a ton of character actors you'll recognize. They're doing fucking expensive external shots with police and ambulances in cities. I don't know where they shot it. I'll have to look that up too. But they spent money on that. And then the second, I wouldn't say the back half, but like the back third of the film takes place on location in Jamaica. And I'm pretty sure it is in Jamaica because I just watched The Harder They Come like the week before, and I swear it was some of the same sets. So I assume they did film there on location. And I was amazed at how real that movie was. It's crazy. Did you see that Tom Segura short series he made for Netflix this year where he dressed up as Steven Seagal and parodied what he's become? No, I did not. I'm not huge into that YMH scene anymore. We have too many IT people. I think I could own more into the cyber contract side of things to make us compliant, I suppose. Everything you're saying sounds hard and complicated. Unlike this, you see the dirt, you clean the dirt. Keep it simple. I had a dirty table, don't have a dirty table no more. That's a clean table. Okay. Table situation's in pretty good shape. 2 of the 3 cleaned already. Oh, there's a gnome hiding out back there. What's up, buddy? I'm gonna put you on the dance floor. Maybe you'll be DJ Gnome. How about that? Put you up here. There you go. Anybody watch the any of the Phoenix festival footage over the weekend? I didn't pay for it or anything, but I watched people's TikToks on it, and interesting how little of an impact it seemed to have. Hey, Geoff, can we go to Waffle House? I haven't been to Waffle House in a minute, but there are 2 in Austin, I think. At least 2. 2 I know of. Yeah, okay. Take a break. The Travelocity commercials are even in PowerWash. Yeah, that's a collab. The rumored Miami Vice reboot with him and MBJ, excited for that. There's one off 71 and one off 290. Yeah. Those are the 2 I know about. The one there at the Tech Center, or Techni Center, whatever the fuck it's called, is the one where, oh, God. I went there at like 3 a.m. after being out drinking with a friend. This is before Rooster Teeth, maybe. So maybe not. Maybe right around the beginning. About 20 years, more than 20 years ago. And as soon as it opened, I was there a lot. I grew up on Waffle House, and I love Waffle House. And as soon as it opened, there was lines. It was ridiculous. But I would go a lot. And then one night, after, like I said, after drinking with a friend, I was there at like 3 a.m. And there was a couple of girls on the other end of the restaurant. Like I was at the counter, and they were in the far end in the L. And one of them threw up all over the table, and then they left in a tizzy, you know. And the employees were arguing over who had to clean it up, and they just couldn't come to a consensus. And so they didn't. They just left it. They were like, I'm not cleaning it up. I was like, well, I'm not going to fucking clean it up. And like, well, it'll just sit there until the morning, staff. And it was the worst smell. And I left. And I haven't been back. I haven't been back to that Waffle House since. Coney Island is Michigan's Waffle House. Yeah, I could see that. I could see that. Man, if that vomit's still there now, it's fossilized. That was a long time ago. God, it was gross. Just like that sickly sweet smell, and it was all, and you know, mixed with like a grill. Ugh. Ugh. Yuckaroony. But that's Waffle House for you. Take the good with the puke. In Virginia, we have Waffle House practically in every corner. Same in Mobile or in Alabama where I grew up. It was everywhere. It was where I spent a lot of my high school years hanging out at Waffle Houses. Open 24 hours a day. Cheap. A place for an underage kid to hang out. Full of local color. There was one by the dog track where I grew up. And that would be the main one that I would hang out in Theodore. Was it in Theodore? I think it was in Theodore, technically. And might have been Tillman's Corner. But yeah, you'd see all the people come in from the dog track with their meager winnings or drowning their sorrows in a cup of coffee after losing. I think that dog track closed down years ago, though. I wonder if the Waffle House is still there. I bet I'll never know. My mom moved to the other side of the causeway, and I don't know that I will ever return. She sold the family house, which it wasn't like I was born in or anything. We lived there. I lived there from like 10th grade on. So I was only in that house for like 2 years. But it was the house that I came back to for 30 years. She sold that house and moved across the causeway about an hour away. And because of that, and I don't really have any family on that side of the bridge anymore because they're all over on the other side where my mom moved closer to them. So I don't know that I will ever, for any reason, ever go back to the place where I grew up and see it or visit it because I'm not a fan of it, and I can't imagine what would draw me back there. Probably have seen that part of the world for the last time. I mean, never say never, but I don't know why I would ever want to go back there. Huh. Never thought about that before. Interesting. Now part of me feels like I should go back and see it one more time just so I can, because I'll know it'll be the last time, you know? Be reminded of how much I don't like it, that part of town where I grew up. It's weird to think about never going back to a place you spent so much of your life. Well, that's how it works, I guess. Life. Do I see that Blood for Blood is back? I don't know what Blood for Blood is. Do you mean the band, Blood for Blood? The hardcore band? The old, like, Victory Records hardcore band? No, I didn't see that. That's cool. I like that band back in the day. Are they playing new music or are they just doing reunion stuff? I'm going to miss my hometown as often. I miss going to my hometown as often as I did, but there's nothing left there for me to visit other than lady nostalgia. Yeah. And unfortunately, the nostalgia I have isn't great, you know? New album on the way and a tour next year. That's awesome. Are they going to be on Victor? What label are they on? Do you know? Fuck Victory. Roadrunner. Okay. I don't even know if Victory Records is still around. Roadrunner is, though. Well, let's clean that pizza up, huh? There we go. Gotta take care of the pizza. Anyway, I think I'll do the horror thing with Emily again. Pick a different game that's maybe a little scarier and more proven to be so. And so I'll take recommendations of what the scariest, like, first-person horror elemented, grounded in reality, or like supernatural horror, but, you know, not like space problems horror that I could turn her on to, or I could play with her. Preferably something I haven't already played. Amnesia. Fugazi is awesome. I did an episode about Fugazi not too long ago. Actually, it wasn't an episode. It was not an episode about Fugazi. I did an episode about a documentary about Fugazi. Do you miss the pizza oven in the old house? I was so scared to use it. I only ever used it 3 times, so not as much. I miss the possibility of it, but, you know, I could buy one of those little $400, like, sit it on your countertop little pizza ovens and probably get an easier pizza out of it. Alien Isolation is such a slow burn, though. And it's exactly space problems. Like, I couldn't get Emily to watch Alien Earth for $1 million. She's not going to watch me play an Alien video game. What's up, Chili Willy? Aside from a bike ride, what other things do you reward yourself with when dealing with procrastination? Oh, I don't know, just whatever is TikTok, 20 minutes of TikTok, baseball cards, a movie on TV, like, I don't know, like whatever you can do to trick yourself. Brisket recommendation in Austin. I think you mentioned not being a big fan of barbecue much anymore. Yeah, it's just that Until Dawn, I'm thinking more like Amnesia, maybe more than Until Dawn. The Murder looks really sick. Thank you, Troubled King. It's not that I'm not a fan of barbecue. It's just that I've gotten burned out on barbecue after 30 years of it. But if you're looking for brisket recommendations in Austin, obviously Franklin and La Barbecue are the top of the food chain there. But Leroy and Lewis, I've never been to. People seem to love it. There's a place called Mum that I really like. There's KG Barbecue, which is a Egyptian-inspired Texas barbecue, and their brisket is awesome. Interstellar Barbecue is supposed to be real good. I've never had it. You can go to Micklethwaite. That's pretty good. But ultimately, yeah, I mean, you'd probably be fine just going to Rudy's and have the easiest time, and Rudy's is pretty good. You won't have bad barbecue there, but I don't know. All those places I mentioned are considered some of the best barbecue spots in Texas and in the world. Leroy Lewis got a. I'm pretty sure they got a Michelin star this last round. They're very popular. I think they were voted like second best barbecue in the state. And then Interstellar is really good. And then, of course, Franklin. And can't go wrong with Franklin and La Barbecue. The only way to go wrong is if you stand in the line. But what else are you going to do? If you're going to do it once, it's worth it. The line, ever since Dua Lipa ate at La Barbecue, it's been insane. As bad, if not worse, than Franklin lines. Which is crazy, because La Barbecue was the place we would go to get mostly Franklin quality barbecue for a 15-minute line, not a 90-minute line, you know. Those days are over. Those days are over. Okay. Yeah, I've seen the movie Chef. A lot of it was pretty popular movie in Austin when it came out. Franklin's the real deal. I mean, it is really fucking good. But at some point, you just like, I don't know. At some point, you've had a lot of barbecue in your life, and you know, it loses some of the appeal. At least for me. I did go to Smitty's not too long ago out in Lockhart, just because Millie really wanted to. And it was fun to go back. I hadn't been there forever, and that was really fun. But that's more of the experience, you know, driving 40 minutes out of town to a little barbecue town. I've heard LA barbecue quality went down a bit recently. All the Lockhart places are top tier, though. They are. The cool thing about Lockhart is it's been the same this entire time for like 100 years. Barbecue blew up in Austin, in Central Texas, in like the early 2000s. And then suddenly there was all this light shed on Lockhart and Lockhart Barbecue and Kreitz's and Black's and Smitty's. And then, you know, Franklin happened, and then barbecue just started to explode everywhere. And then all the places that already existed, like Cooper's and Lano, and Snow's started to get like more notoriety as well. And it became this whole thing. And then people it wasn't enough to have great barbecue. Then you had to innovate on the barbecue, and places like Interstellar and Leroy and Lewis started to innovate on the barbecue and KG. And now that's kind of the direction it's taken. And if you look at the list of like top 50 barbecue restaurants in Texas, like Texas Monthly does this every year, it's a lot of the national limelight and focus has turned away from Lockhart because it's going towards the innovation and the new thing. But Lockhart hasn't changed at all. They're making barbecue the exact same way before it was buzzworthy, and they're making barbecue the exact same way after it's buzzworthy. So if anything, I think maybe this is the best fucking time to go to Lockhart that there has been in a long time, because everybody's attention is elsewhere. And I think Lockhart's just been left alone to go back to doing what it does, which is just make barbecue the old school fucking Central Texas way. Simple and to the point, and delicious, and that's how I feel about that. I guess. Where does Rudy's fit into the timeline? Rudy's just always been around. Rudy's is just accessible, good barbecue. You know, you're never going to get barbecue at Rudy's as good as La Barbecue or Interstellar, but you're never going to get bad barbecue at Rudy's. Like if you went to, I don't know, Ironworks or Stubbs or one of the million mediocre barbecue spots in Central Texas. Green Mesquite, one of those places, you know. Okay. All right, we can start renting skates out now. Things are clean for the most part. Yeah. Looking good. Making progress. Front of the house is not done, but it's in better shape than it was. Man, how does a ceiling in a roller rink get this dirty? What was going on in here? Absolutely ridiculous. It's been buried in a landslide or something, but a really gentle one that caused no structural damage. Just cosmetic. Those cosmetic landslides you hear so little about. Hey, it's Mark the Frog. Washing air conditioner coils today, and it's a bit chilly relative to Florida standards with a breeze. I'm soaking wet and have a cold already. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, Mark. That sucks. 59 right in the Gulf with a steady breeze. That's pretty cold for Florida. And you're wet. Doesn't make it any easier. Man, you just reminded me, though, that I have sandwich meat. I made myself a sandwich for dinner last night, and I'm going to go do that for lunch. Valiant Vanner says, oh my God, the vendor and my director are talking about where they were born and raised, and I do not care. Let me go to lunch. Trying to decide if I want to go to my local coffee shop for the job hunt adventure today. When in doubt, always go out. You never know what'll happen. What's for lunch? I'm going to have a ham and pepper jack cheese sandwich with tomato and lettuce and mustard, I think. It's very cold in Ohio. How to get this one cleaned? Probably. Yeah, I think so. Nope. Dirty. Okay, there we go. I had no idea they made Dasani out of Coke until Andrew opened my eyes. Oh, man, what a little lunatic. That was his whole reverse osmosis thing. He's unique. He's a one of a kind. Crazy that the little podcast we started just to figure out a way to showcase how chaotic and brilliantly weird and unique Andrew is has turned into an entire company that's the livelihood of 5 people. That's nuts, man. And awesome. And only possible because of your support, which will never be lost on us. All because Andrew's fucking weird. In all the best ways. I love it. Also nice to be able to have a career still. But I don't ever take that for granted. Andrew might be the reason you know my name. It's entirely possible, Mark. You might be Andrew for all we know. That is a theory. It is a running theory. Many people are saying it. I've never seen Mark the Frog and Andrew in the same room at the same time. Physically. In physical. There's also that theory that Walt Disney is frozen. Him and Ted Williams. I think Ted Williams really is frozen. I don't think it's a theory. I don't have a Ted Williams card yet. He's expensive. He's one of the hard ones. Not hard. There's plenty available. He's just one of the ones I haven't pulled the trigger on yet for the collection. But I'll get there. I had my eye on one, but I got outbid on it a couple months ago. No hurry. I think Josh Gibson's going to be one of the harder ones to get, honestly. What got you into collecting sports cards? Sports? Being a fan of sports when I was a little kid. I started collecting sports cards when I was probably 10. Thank you, Pie Reaper. I like the idea of a Pie Reaper. All the other pies are fucking shake in fear when he walks in the room. Is today the day the Reaper comes for you? Key lime? Or is it you, pumpkin? All right, let's get this booth cleaned up. 69. Oh, dude. All right, after this, I'm going to eat. I'm going to allow myself to eat because I'm fucking hungry. I'll get hangry if I don't. And then I have got to crack the whip on So All Right. If I record this episode of So All Right today, I will be doing myself a solid for the rest of the week. I won't have to worry about that. Give myself extra time to edit it. I've already got next week's edited. I just need to listen to it one more time. See, these are the negotiations you have to have with yourself. And I like doing So All Right. It's a fucking podcast of my thoughts. Like, why wouldn't I want to do that? But something about when it becomes work, you got to start fucking convincing yourself. Hate it. I hate that part of me. All right, front of the house is clean, though. Certainly seems to be. Okay. I guess that's not totally done yet. Okay. Now it is. I found out the other day the Break Show used to be called Break Shit, and I've never seen any of them, so that's where my free time went. Oh, yeah. Fuckface Break Shit. How many of those do we do? We probably did about, I don't know, 20 or 30 of them. They were a lot more sporadic at Rooster Teeth. I say that as we didn't do one yesterday, but we didn't do one yesterday because of extenuating circumstances. We were supposed to. It's a rare miss for us. It just happened to be that we just didn't have the manpower. But that's okay. We'll just have a blowout end of the year regulation break show extravaganza next Monday. I want to open up those boxes from Andrew from that auction a while ago. Super down with that. I kind of know what's in there, and I really want to see it now. And we've got, I don't know, a bunch of shit I bought. I think there's another comic book, graded comic book we can open. There's a baseball we can open. There's a bunch of shit. Got a bunch of Allen and Ginter hobby boxes. Oh, man. I bought at Target on a whim yesterday. They had one blaster of Allen and Ginter at the checkout. And I bought it and got a William Fichtner on-card auto. I'd show it. I can show it to you because it's right here. I was about to say I'd show it to you, but it's downstairs. But it's not. It's right behind me. I think I brought my cards upstairs last night like a good boy. Let me see. Oh, cactus. What a surprise. Popsicle. Alien. It's like old Geoff merch. It really is. It's like all the themes of old Geoff clothes. Okay. Even the kitty cat. I love it. No kitty. No. Okay. I can only find normal and super thick top loaders, not thick top loaders, so I'll top load it later. But look at this bad boy, just out of a Target blaster. Now, I don't know what it's worth. I don't know if it's even going to... Here, let's do this. Pretty cool, huh? Guy's got a cool signature. Didn't expect to get that out of a Target blaster on card, which is pretty rare. He's just an actor. Not just an actor. He is an actor. He's not an athlete. You've seen him in a million things, but crazy. Crazy that Crazy that I pulled that. I was actually talking shit about Allen and Ginter when I pulled it. I was telling Emily, she loves Allen and Ginter. She gets excited about it because she likes all the non-sports stuff in it. And I was telling her that I think this year's Allen and Ginter is pretty weak, honestly, in terms of inserts, interesting inserts. And there's really only 2 full-sized inserts, and they're both pretty mediocre. And it feels like there's even less mini inserts this year than usual, but that may be wrong. I certainly haven't gotten a lot of them yet. And then, like, as I was bitching about it, pulled that card. Shut me up. Shut me right the fuck up. I don't know what the market for Fitchner cards is, but I'm not even sure I'm saying his name right, but I guess I'm in the business now. Having wet shoes might be a universal bad time. I completely agree, Mark. There's very rarely any situation where wet shoes are good. Even like water shoes that are supposed to be wet or gross. He's really good in this new Talamasca show. I'm not familiar with that show. I do have 3 boxes of Allen and Ginter for the break show, though, that I bought. 3, not blaster, but 3 hobby boxes. So there should be. They reduced the number of hits this year. Another reason to be bummed by Allen and Ginter, but there should be 2 hits per box, so there should be 6 hits. I have a feeling they'll all be, paper memes of people like Dansby Swanson and Albert Pujols, but maybe I'll get another auto, get lucky. Most of the subreddits I see that people I'm on all of these sports card subreddits, and people love to share their breaks, and I've seen a lot of disappointment in the Allen and Ginter world. But those people aren't sitting on a Fitchner auto, so on card. So maybe they're just bitter. Love the break show. It's the highlight of the week. Thank you so much, Icon. I really appreciate that. I'm always on the fence about whether it's worth continuing or not. I feel like it's a show for me and my interests that my friends agree to work on out of kindness, but I feel like it's just kind of like sometimes I worry that the break show is kind of a selfish venture by me. Oh, I realize I'm fucking over here spraying my little dick off, and you guys aren't seeing it. Break show is my top 3 regulation ventures. Thank you, Mark. That means a lot coming from you. Oh, he's still playing. Yeah, I was just in here fucking spraying my little ass off. Forgot that I'd gone full screen on you. We'll get back to playing video games in earnest tomorrow. Like I said, this for anybody that came in late, typically I stream from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m., but Eric and I kind of last minute had to go do some bank stuff this morning at 9 a.m., and so I wasn't able to. I didn't want to hop on and stream for 30 minutes and leave, so I just figured I'd hit you guys up when I got done with the bank, and I did. And done with the bank is a loose statement because we're not done. I got to go back tomorrow at some point, but it doesn't have to be at 9 in the morning. You're never done with the bank. We got talk about these conversations we have with ourselves, trick ourselves into doing stuff. Eric and I have decided to be in a good mood on our second trip to the bank to do this one thing that we've been trying to do for a week, because we got 60% of the way done today. We went from maybe 5% done from the first visit to 60% done. So I only have to go back to do the remaining 40%. And boy, am I jazzed about that. Man, I'm getting fucking hungry. All right. What's Spotify telling me? What's Spotify telling me something? Oh, Telenovela is performing Saturday, February 28th. I don't even know who that is. Must be something I have on a playlist. Finally out of meetings. How's everybody doing? Great. Just sitting here thinking about the sandwich I'm going to make in a few minutes. Getting really excited about it. That's going to be my reward for going to the bank and streaming still. And editing so all right already today. I'm going to allow myself to eat a yummy little sandwich. I could make a BLT. Nah, I should eat the sandwich meat I have. You took care of your wife's birthday and Christmas gift yesterday. What'd you get her? Or is it a secret? Is she... It's okay if you don't want to say. I'm in a similar boat, Mark. When's your wife's birthday? My wife's birthday is February 10th, and so I'm always like trying to figure out, is this a Christmas present or a birthday present? But I try to buy them at the same time while I'm thinking about it. So I have more of her birthday presents for February than I do her Christmas presents for December so far, somehow. But what's my go-to bread? Whatever. I'm not bread picky. I like sourdough. I like white bread. I like rye. I like bread, you know. I'll eat a 12 grain. I don't care. I have some... I think the bread I have right now is, I don't know, some deli bread from H-E-B. Or... Actually, it's Target. Some deli bread from Target. Whatever the fuck brand that is. What's your favorite paper towel brand, Geoff? Oh, easy. Brawny. Come on. It's the quicker picker-upper. December 28th. Oh, that's even worse, Mark. You got no grace period there. You got to get right on it. Are you getting a combo gift, or did you just get both gifts taken care of? Oh, here we go. I got her an Evan Star necklace from Lord of the Rings and 3 tickets for the 25th anniversary theatrical release of the extended editions of Lord of the Rings. That's awesome. That sounds like an awesome gift, Mark. I'm going to guess. I'm going to go out on a limb and guess that your wife really likes Lord of the Rings. And if that's the case, man, if she doesn't, it's going to be a weird gift. Very thoughtful of you. It's good husband work there. You should be commended. Mark knows how to do gifts. Yeah, I have a bunch of shit for Emily because it's her 40th birthday. So I'm trying to do some thoughtful gifts in that arena. But nothing I could say to you guys because you little fuckers will tell her. Spoil surprises. We both love Lord of the... Oh, okay. Hold on. We both love Lord of the Rings. My wedding band is a silicone version of the One Ring. This better not be a situation where, like, when Homer got Marge a bowling ball that says Homer on it. Bounty is the quicker picker-upper. That's right. Good catch. I still prefer Brawny. That dude's hot. When I was growing up, the Scott paper towel factory was a big driver of jobs where I grew up on the Gulf Coast. And I used to deliver, when I was a tool repairman, a lot of the tools we would fix, I'd have to deliver directly to the Scott paper mill back in the day. I don't think that they're still around anymore. I don't know. Maybe they are. Maybe they're not. I don't know. But that's my connection to paper towel companies. Yet I didn't pick them. I still picked Brawny and got the slogan wrong. We'll see about that. This is how age ravages the mind. Do. What am I stepping on? Just fucking draw everywhere I go. I had a cool thing going on earlier when I was on my ladder when I was cleaning this disco ball I'd never seen before, where if I would hit certain stuff at just the right angle, it would ping off and shoot, like, ricochet water in a different direction, which I've never seen the game do before. It was pretty funny, but I couldn't get it to do it consistently. It just seemed to happen randomly. Otherwise, I would have, I don't know, tried to do something funny with it. All right, let's get this wall cleaned. That'll feel like some progress. Ooh, will it though? There you go. Okay. Man, that's getting positively pleasant in here. This thing's practically done. That gnome's going to be doing his first DJ set here before you know it. Last year, I got my boss a Garpler for Christmas since he's a big regulation fan. Now I'm considering getting him a cameo of Geoff giving him shit about laying me off. Could be funny. We're still friends, so it'd be for the last. I'll do it. I'll talk shit about that motherfucker for laying you off. Someone keeps leaving snack wrappers in the bathroom. What did I say in the past? Taking my kids to Epcot this Christmas. Me and my wife had tickets, so I'm buying them. Oh, nice. Oh, was it about where I grew up? I moved around a lot, but I was born in Mobile, Alabama. I moved to when I lived in Theodore. I guess I was born in Mobile. I lived in Theodore. Splitting hairs, same shit. Then when I was 5, I moved to Jackson. No, when I was 5, I moved to Pensacola for about a year. When I was 6, I moved to Portland, Oregon, essentially Beaverton. I lived there for about 3.5 years, and then we moved from Oregon to Jacksonville, Florida. And I lived there for like 4 years, and then we moved back to Mobile, Alabama, where I lived for 18 months or 2 years. Then we moved to the outskirts of New Orleans, Covington and Mandeville. I lived there for maybe 2 years, then moved back to Mobile and Tillman's Corner, and I lived there until I joined the Army. And then in the Army, I moved to Fort Jackson, South Carolina. And from there, Fort Ben Harrison, Indiana. Fort Ben Harrison. Then Indianapolis, so I was trying to think of. And then from there, Fort Hood, Texas, which became Fort Cavazos, which is now Fort Hood again, I think. Then Eatontown, New Jersey, where I worked at Fort Monmouth. Then Austin, Texas. And then I never left again. I think that's everywhere I've lived. If you don't count deployments to like Kuwait and the Middle East and places that I spent time in the military. No, I didn't know that about the wrestling guy. Pepsi Cola was founded in Pensacola. I didn't know that. And I don't know that that's true, but if it is, that's cool. Roy Jones Jr. is from Pensacola. I think Emmett Smith is as well. I'm in my 30s. I moved twice, and once was down the street. Scariest moment from your military service? I've talked about it before on the RT podcast, but the Twitch VOD isn't up on YouTube yet. Why? What Twitch VOD? For regulation or for Soul Right? Where'd I go when I was in the military? Friday stream. Yeah, Nick's on a plane, so he'll probably figure it out when he gets home. Let me see. The scariest, I was in Kuwait when we bombed Iraq, and that was scary because we went on alert and everything, and I didn't know what would happen. But it was only scary for like an hour. I was genuinely frightened one time in a training exercise mishap where I was on top of a Bradley fighting vehicle with a battalion commander. I was trying to remember who it was, brigade or battalion. I think it was a battalion commander. We were in Kuwait. We were kind of down close to the border. And we were doing MICLIC training exercises with the engineers. I don't remember which corps it was, but some 1st Cavalry Division engineer battalion, company, whatever. And they were doing these what are called MICLIC charge tests, and a MICLIC stands for mine clearing line charge. And this was in 1995, maybe 1996. So this might all be different in the military now. I'm sure it is. They might not even use a MICLIC anymore. But back in the day, they would have this MICLIC, and it looked almost like, if my memory serves correctly, it looked almost like Beetlejuice's long arm that rolled out, and in it was a bunch of little bombs that pop up into the air and then land, and they set off mines everywhere to make it safe for soldiers to come in and breach or whatever. And so we were testing one of those MICLICs, and we were downrange to where it was going to go off, and there was a miscommunication over the comms, and they hit the MICLIC charge, and it was a training charge. So it wasn't bombs, it was full of white phosphorus, which is fucking scary and dangerous. And so I remember I was like trying to take photos of the guys I don't remember, I was trying to take photos of something. I was literally standing on top of the BFE with another journalist, and I was like taking some photos, and then I heard some screaming and some yelling, and then an explosion, and then I looked up, and the sky was on fire. Just like fire was coming at me. And this is the story where I famously pushed the girl I was working with out of the way so I could get. I hated her, and this is not. This is not a good person to do. But my first instinct was to push her away from the entrance so that I could get into it, and we got lit up. And I think we all lost our BDUs because there were just like little burns of like white phosphorus all over us, and we were all just crammed into a BFE, like doing this shit, trying to get clean in it. Yeah, and that was probably the scariest moment. And then I got to hear that battalion commander raise hell over the comms, and we got the fuck out of there. But I would not have wanted to be the dude that misunderstood that direction and fired that MICLIC charge. Anyway, it was that was pretty funny. That was pretty scary. My salute? Yeah, I had a pretty good salute, man. I'm not going to do a salute, but look at this arm. Hold on, let me get you. Hard to get much straighter than that. Look at that. That's a fucking awesome salute. Look at that. It's fucking straight as an arrow, man. It's pretty much the move bitch scene from White Chicks, kind of. I have lived an interesting life, yeah. Was she the one who joined the army to piss off her cheating ex-husband and then banged everybody in the army but you? Yes, it is. It is absolutely the same person. And it didn't have anything to do with her not being interested in me romantically. We just did not get it. We had a hate relationship. And I don't think her husband cheated on her, to be clear. Although she definitely cheated on him because they were still married. Her husband got in trouble because he got drunk with a bunch of his friends, and he and his friends, they were like living in an apartment. I don't want to give too much personal information, but she was living in an apartment. Her husband, they're like in their early 20s, and they thought it would be funny to call in a death threat to the president. And so they called the White House and said they were going to threatened Clinton, who was the president at the time. And the military, the person on the other switch on was like, you need to hang up and right now and knock this off. And they called back a second time. And she said within like an hour, agents busted their door down and took him away. And he ended up in jail for like 3 or 4 or 5 years or something. And she was left broke and with no solutions. And so she joined the military out of necessity to make a living because her husband was in jail. And then I think she served him divorce papers from jail. But she was still married to him, and she was having a good time. She was having a good time on deployment. That's an incredible drunk mistake. Yeah, yeah. You got to be a real genius to do something like that. Yeah, I mean, a bunch of dumb kids in the 90s being dumb kids, you know. I think the thing that really pissed her off was they gave him an out and he like didn't take it. He was like, he called back and doubled down on the joke and was not serious. Like he was just drinking with his buddies and they were having a fun time. Wasn't serious in any way. And government doesn't fuck around. How good is your knife hand? I don't know what that means. I don't know that I remember enough of my life to really write an autobiography. I drank away a lot of my memories, unfortunately. You never know. I don't know that it'd be as interesting as you think it would be. That's like one of the only things not protected by free speech, and you should have known that well enough, even drunk. Oh, he knew better. He's just a fucking dumb kid. They just didn't think. People in their early 20s don't acknowledge that consequences are real, you know? And that's not everybody, obviously. I'm not generalizing, but you know, you just feel young and invulnerable and stupid. And he was just like a dumb kid living in a college student, I think, in Colorado or somewhere, just fucking around, you know, and probably smoking pot and drinking and fucking not a care in the world. Probably 22, 21. Had never felt or realized consequences before, and life caught him real fast. Having worked at a jail for kids, they absolutely don't think about shit. My dad was a juvenile probation officer for the back half of his life, and I got to spend a lot of time. He used me as a success story for a lot of kids, so I got to spend a lot of time talking to troubled kids in juvenile probation. And you're right. It's heartbreaking. God, my dad was a good guy, though. He loved those kids so much. I remember we used to go to the grocery store. We'd just be anywhere, go to the grocery store. And then you'd hear this dude say, "Mr. Ramsey." And you'd turn around and there'd be this dude who's like 6'4" and just like huge. And you'd be like, oh, fuck. And my dad was like 5'8". And he'd go, yeah. He'd go, "Mr. Ramsey, you were my probation officer 4 years ago in detention." And I'd be like, oh, fuck. And then every time the guy'd be like, "Nobody ever cared as much as you did, and I just wanted to say thank you for that," and shake his hand and walk on. And it was like, that happened to my dad so many fucking times. I'm gonna cry thinking about it, but it was really cool. My dad was kind of a hero. Yeah. Knife hand is when an MTI or drill sergeant, instead of pointing, has their hand in a salute type and pointing at you. I've never heard it referred to that. Yeah, tell your dad you love them all, because you're not guaranteed to be able to forever. I was I was 36. 35, 36, 36 when my dad died. Going on 15 years. And it you never miss him less. It never goes away. Anyway, I think that'll probably do it for me. Thanks for hanging out today. Sorry that I got off to a late start, but I really enjoyed getting to spend my morning with you guys. I'll be back tomorrow. We'll actually play some video games. If Mark's around, we'll play Bolt Gun. If not, we'll play Dave the Diver. Love you guys. Thanks again. really appreciate the career you've allowed me to have. Have a great day. Merry Christmas, everybody.